you have to differentiate between Peter's and Judas's. Peter was a momentary betrayal. He came back.
He came back immediately.
He came back. Sometimes we hold the people in our lives to such high standards, we don't give room for people to come back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of StormCast. I am Folu Storms, and with me today on the StormCast, I have a woman who is as refined as she is beautiful, as she is feminine, as she is purposeful. Bodam Taiwo, marketing executive, my family member, who I've also joined. I keep bringing people that I like, but Bodam, thank you for joining me.
Anytime. Such a pleasure to be here, obviously.
Listen, what did you think when I asked you to be on the podcast?
I was excited.
Yeah.
I'm like, finally, she recognizes whatever she recognizes, because I didn't even know what we're going to chat about, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to be here.
Okay. So today I want to talk to you about a number of things, because you are somebody who is very loud and outspoken about the things that you value, the things that you believe in, the things that you prioritize. God is number one amongst those things. I know it comes very much from how you were raised, but it is also a path that you have chosen to walk very intentionally. Sometimes the path can be is dusty, but the path is there. It's very clear, and because we also spent some time living together, so I see that it's a reality. Then there is the path of the marketing executive that you are, and you've worked for how many years across?
I've done almost 20 years now, and I'm not old. I just started young.
20 years
Yes.
of working as a marketing executive.
As a marketing executive now, about 11 years, 12 years, but the span of the full career, around about 20 years.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive for people who are older, and you look like a spring chicken.
Talk
So
to
it
me.
must be very confusing for people who are, they're like, I don't understand. Are you one of those people, you come out of the womb, you begin walking, so you just start already with like 5 years experience. So there's that. So I guess the first thing to recognize is that you are a multi-hyphenate. Very interesting background. You've got an engineering background, actually, and then you got into luxury spirits. You are a former beauty queen, Miss Malaika UK.
Come on
I
now.
remember that era, how we could not rest. How do you first and foremost navigate the challenges, maybe even the storm of people trying to box you? Are there people who try to put you in a specific box?
Oh, yes. So, we live in Africa, and I mean, we live in Nigeria, but I say Africa a lot now, especially because my role covers quite a number of countries in Africa. And in Africa, we tend to put women in little cute boxes. And I have some people who call me, because I speak about God quite freely, so automatically I must be a what? A pastor.
Yeah, deaconess. But I've seen some of your fascinators. That's not. When I was fascinator for her birthday, she just turned 40.
Come on.
Gorgeous. Was talking to God directly. If God is looking down, he cannot miss whose birthday.
So that he can, let's be clear.
Praises up high.
So there's that. And then some other people are just confused. What I've discovered, I think, over the last few years of really stepping into me is not quite my responsibility to cater to the definition that you have of me. It's my responsibility to live out all the different circles that I've been called to live. The example I always give, and you permit me today, just because faith is so important, so I flow in and out of that, right? But there's a story, I'll make it very, it doesn't matter if you're personal faith or not.
Go right ahead.
There's a story that I really love in the Bible, and it changed my idea of how I looked at myself around about 8 years ago, and it was the story of the talents. And in this particular story, the master gives one person 5, he gives one person 3, he gives one person 1. The one that he gave 1 goes away and hides it. And it's like, this master, I don't even really quite get him. Is he good? Is he not good? Does he want to reap where he did not sow? And that's sort of how people look at God, isn't it? But we'll get into that later. Then the one that he gave 3 goes and trades with the 3, comes 3 more. The one that he gives 5 to trades with the 5 and brings 5 more. And when the master returns after a very long time, he says, come, give me an account of what you've done with your talents. The 5 says, hey, 5 more. The 3 says 3 more. And the 1 says, I have no clue who you are, what you're about. Take the 1 that you gave me, right? And the story ends say that he was a bit upset. And that's putting it quite mildly with the 1 that has 1. And he says, take it from the 1 that has 1 and give it to the 1 that has 10, right? And all of that. That changed my perspective of how I looked at my life and the gifts that I'd been given. I'm one of the ones, I always said, I was not blessed with 1 gift or 5 gifts. I have like 10 that I've discovered, maybe even more. And one thing that I don't want to do is to get to the end of my life and start looking and wishing that, oh, I should have expressed this part. Or, oh, I was too afraid of what society was going to say, so I didn't fully push into this. I want to live my life fully spent, expressing all the gifts and talents that the Lord has given me on the face of this earth. And that's the journey I bring people in. So it doesn't matter if you meet me in church, in a party, at work, on a plane, wherever, you'll meet one part of me. But my hope is that it's not even about me, but it's that you seeing me live out everything that I've been called to live out in the way that I live it ignites you to live out your own 1 or 3 or 5 or 20, as the case may be. Yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting you've shared it that way, because that's almost the exact way that I explain all the multiple things that I do to other people. Because I'm like, if God has put it in you, what else are you supposed to do? Because it almost feels like for people who do not express themselves, who do not express their talents, you can see the misery in them sometimes.
Yes.
You can see this lack of fulfillment. But then you also mentioned, and I keep saying that if I were going to be one of the disciples, I'd probably be Thomas. I'm the one always wrestling. I'm like, Sumisa, I didn't, you have to explain it to me. Because why? What do you show me the proof? And I feel that a lot of people struggle with that, because we go back to the guy who had the 1, and depending on whose perspective or who's telling the story, I could be like, wait, I'm not too sure of myself. Let me not lose this one. Yeah. Just bury it in the ground. When you come back, see it now. Is it not there? Stay. Collect it. And I wonder what makes you so certain, because you were raised Catholic. Wait, no. In fact, please, yes. Please talk a little bit about your journey with faith and with the divine, and why for you that is such an important compass, and how that, if it does, affect the way that you relate with other people, and whether or not they have that same anchor.
That's an interesting one, actually. So I was raised Baptist, right? Growing up, my dad is Baptist, and I don't know how everybody else grew up, but in our home, we went to church with my dad. So all 4 of us were raised Baptist.
I remember.
My mom has always been Catholic, and so early years, she'd maybe go to mass first and then come with us to daddy's church. Then after a while, that was just, when you have 4 kids, really, that's a lot of juggling. So we'll just go with my dad to church. She'll go to church and all of that. Then I went off to university, and one day, a friend of mine was giving me gist about a boy. I know, it has to do with a boy. Yeah. And the story was sweet. I was in my foundation year at University of Reading. And she was telling me the story, giving me this gist. And I don't think I've actually really ever said this story publicly, but hey, And she now was like, that she has to go to church, so that when she comes back, she finishes giving me the gist. I'm like, I'm unclear. No. This story is too sweet to stop because of church. I'm like, where are you going? Which church are you going to? She's like, she's Catholic. There was a church like down the road of the university. I'm like, no issues. I'll go with you to church, and then we'd, you tell me the story on the way to church. We'll have a mandatory break so that, we can attend church, which is not very long. Then on the way back, you complete the story. That shows how vested I was in the gist of this boy.
You were really inside the gist.
I was inside the gist. You said the gist was sweet. So we get off the way to church, and she tells me this story, and I'll never forget. This was round about November, so it was winter in the UK, and it started getting darker much earlier. So it was dark. It was late afternoonish, but it was dark. And then at the end of this long, windy road, there's the church. You know how these cute little student chaplaincy churches are. So it's like, well, okay, you might not know, but it was a small, cutish building at the end of this long road. And because it was dark everywhere and the road was quite windy and there's no light on the road, I don't even know the boldness we had to go on that quite frankly
Dark,
scary road, you know. But we went down it, and at the end of it, you see the church and you see the soft glowy lights right at the church. I didn't mean anything. Okay, whatever. It's a church. I was invested in the story, and I was glad to see the lights because we're at the end of the, no serial killer, all those
Murder
movies you
Avenue.
watch. Exactly.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, the end of it's cool. But then we entered the church, and I looked towards the altar, and I just felt in my, what I now realize to probably be in my soul or in my spirit, but on the inside of me, I felt like I heard a voice just saying, "This is home." And I'm like, okay. That's cute.
That's
whatever
nice.
that is, and then I go upstairs and sit down and I'm just observing. And we do that and we go. And the next day I'm like, the next Sunday I'm like, I want to follow you to church again. And we sort of start going. And then after a while, I decided, I'm going to jump in with both feet. I think I want to make this my own home and my own journey of faith, right? So I came back to Nigeria one summer in 2004. And I said to my mom, I'm like, I want to become Catholic. She's like,
Conspiracy, don't let your father here come.
Like, come close to me. You know what? I'm like, yeah, I've thought about it. I've been dilly-dallying with this for about 2 years now at the time. There's some things I don't understand. There's some things I may not even really agree with fully yet. But I have such a strong conviction in my heart. This is where the Lord is calling me to be. So this is where I want to be. She's like, okay. So we went to one Reverend Father Dick Peter of blessed memory. He's gone home to be with the Lord. And then we do everything, get baptized, and we start going on the journey.
Yeah, because at this point, you're not baptized yet.
No, I'm not baptized, not confirmed, nothing.
Yeah.
So I did everything as an adult on the same day, on the 24th of August, 2004. Yeah. So did that, did baptism, confirmation, first Holy Communion, everything, I'm like, oh, brand new baby. I was wearing a blue denim dress, with a zipper down the front. Anyway, did that. And as with most, maybe not with most, I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm done and dusted now. Box ticked. Sure, you leave me alone. Abby? Like I've done it. I have this faith now. Yeah. I'm going to church, so it's okay. Everything is fine. And then, so I've always had different friends from different backgrounds, faith backgrounds, faith backgrounds, varied, all sorts of people. And then I noticed a group of my friends who seemed to have a very vibrant relationship with the Lord. Now, anybody that knows me knows I'm very competitive. So if you play game...
We'll talk about it. Bodam is badly behaved. When it comes to competition, this girl here, femininity, she will jump on your back. I've never seen such, but please continue.
So, as I was saying, I'm quite competitive, right? So if I see, not necessarily in like an envious, jealous way, but if I see you doing something, it challenges me. If Folu, I was going to call you something else.
Live your life. Don't worry.
If I see you and I'm like, you're doing this, you're disciplined. Let me just segue. This is like my my fourth day now of going on a 20-minute walk every morning.
We're dragging her slowly but surely into an active lifestyle. Good job. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so proud.
That's fantastic.
I'm so proud. Anyway,
okay.
But things like that, I'm like, okay, if Ada can do this thing every single morning, she gets up, maybe not every morning, but in the day, she's disciplined herself to make her body strong. Bodam, what are you doing? Why can you not put certain things? So, and I bring this, I saw certain friends of mine that seem to have a thriving relationship with God. A relationship with God that gave them answers. A relationship with God that was not pure tick boxes. You go, you pray, you do this. A relationship with a God who was a father.
It appeared to you as a very genuine relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. It was not performative. Because we're going to talk about performance.
Yeah, there's that.
Okay.
And in my typical way, I went back to my room one day, closed my door, and I said to the Lord, I'm a baby girl. I'm a soft child. If you tell me do A, I will do A. if I'm going to be here in this church that you've called me to, I am here. I told myself, but everything that exists in this faith walk thing, I want. Those are my exact words. I was like, everything. I do not ever want a situation where a friend of mine on the outside is having a better relationship with you, and it's not saying, Abuda, maybe where you are is not bubbling there. Come over. I said, no. If you've called me here, I will be here, but I need to uncover all the layers that there are to you. And at the time, also, that was a bit of a childish request, because you cannot uncover all the layers of God, right? But it just, I wanted more. And there's always been that hunger of, Lord, if there's more of you, I want to know you as Father. I want to know you as friend. I want to know you as a helper. I want to know you as a lover. I want to, there's so many layers to God, and I can sit here and we'll probably have this conversation for the next 5 days if I keep on going on it. But there's nobody that can convince me that God is not real, because I've seen him in such practical, real ways that I can almost touch. There was a year, I think it was 2008, this particular year. And every month, I remember I would email my friend Ayo, whose birthday is today, coincidentally. She hadn't moved back to Nigeria at the time. She was still in the UK. And every month, I'll email her with a how God saved me story. Because 2008.
That was that malaria.
That was that year.
I remember. Oof.
That was that year.
So what happened in 2008?
So, me being a bit dramatic, the way I like to tell the story now is 2008 was a year the devil tried, that he tried everything. Yeah. And God was like, no, no. So I started off the year January and I was a bit ill. And I used to have this thing with malaria. Once I have malaria, everybody will start panicking because I'm down and out. So had the malaria, took all the drugs, as they gave in the hospital, and I was supposedly done. But I still felt quite weak. And normally, as it happens, because I don't eat very well when I have malaria, so it's normal. So the medicine ended on a Saturday, on a Friday. So Saturday, I was like, I'm still weak. Mommy said, it's the after effect that you've been also in the house for, at this time, I think 7 days. The drugs were quite long at the time. So let's go on a ride to give you some fresh air and all of that. A family friend's wedding was coming up. So we were going to be bridesmaids, my sister and I, Baranga and I. So we went with my mommy to fit the outfit in Ikeja. I lived in Aja. My parents still live, Anyway, so entered the car, took off. Okay, got to Ikeja. And then they were fitting me. They were measuring me, rather. And as they measured me, the room just spins this way, and I sort of fall down. Oof. And are you okay? I'm like, my head is hurting. The room's spinning. My mom's like, let's start going. Maybe this was a bit too much
for you.
Let's start going. So we left Ikeja, get onto 3rd Mainland Bridge, Ikorodu Road, and get back into VI. As we're approaching Bonnie Camp, my temperature was through the roof. I was, shivering. So I'm lying on the back seat. My sister's in the front seat. I'm lying on my mom's lap. And then she's calling her friends frantically that, look, my daughter is not well. I need a hospital around here that I can take her to. And they said there's a Lagoon Hospital. So we went, Silverbed was on the right on this side. We went into Lagoon Hospital, get there. Is she okay? What is it? Let's start running tests. So I'm there. At this time, the temperature is so high. When you start like mini convulsions, they call it rigor. So I start doing that, and the doctors are, trying to crash the temperature, trying to do this, and they're taking the malaria. They're taking my blood, but it's not showing positive for malaria. So there's a bit of confusion. And my mom was like, yeah, she's just had the malaria test, and she's just had malaria, and she's finished the drugs, but we don't know what's happening, and all of that's going on. So we're there all day. This was from maybe 1 p.m. till about 8 p.m. or something. We're there. It's Saturday. And they said they want to keep me overnight, and I start crying. I said, I've never slept in hospital before. It's not going to be today. I want to go home. The temperature has calmed down. The rigor has stopped. I'm fine. I promised all of them that I don't have control over my body.
The number of women that I know that behave like this
Yes.
is shockingly more than you people would think.
Yeah.
It is. Let me control myself because I know the names I want to call, but I'm going to let you finish.
And we go home. And
so you even scammed your way out of the hospital?
I did.
True.
They agreed.
Bodam.
They said that if after an hour my body is like, still remains this way, they'll let me go home. If anything, they gave me number of an ambulance. Bear in mind, Lagoon Hospital was in VI. I was in Acha. So I went. My mommy, my sister, all of them, they were with me. Says, don't blame me alone. Blame all of us.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to call and see right after this.
Yes. So we all went home. Nobody in my house slept that night. I don't want to be graphic, but the type of thing where you're on the bed as the Lord made you, and they were pouring cold water on my body to try and crash me all through the night. I think maybe they called the hospital. So like, can you bring her out? Can you? I don't know. Anyway, early Sunday morning, so I'd finally slept early hours of Sunday morning. So my mom was like, okay, let her run to mass. So she went to mass at 6 a.m. in the morning. And as soon as she gets back, she bundled, I think they wake me up, bundle me up, and they're like, let's go to the hospital. That was the last I came out of the hospital for maybe 2 weeks or so, something. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So I got to the hospital in Lagoon in VI, and, and I'll speed this up now. They take my blood again. They're trying to figure out what was the issue, and they couldn't quite land it. And then I started bleeding as well. And it wasn't my time of the month.
Ooh.
So anyway, later that night, they transferred me to Lagoon in Apapa. Because they're like, it's a bigger hospital.
Yeah.
They have more facilities. They would be able to figure out what's wrong.
Okay.
So my first night there, they said, that was Sunday night, right? So we got to the hospital. The ambulance took me, probably got to the hospital at 11 something at night or closer to midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Checked me in. They did a physical exam. Doctor's like, this thing is not normal. This cannot be a symptom of malaria. What happened? Nothing happened, sir. It must be a symptom. I don't know.
Wow.
Okay. So they tell my mom she can't stay in the hospital. She can't sleep in the hospital with me that night. It's against the rules. So her and my sister start driving back to Aja.
From a papa.
At
night.
Yes.
On a Sunday.
When I pray for my family members, anyway. Then about 2 a.m., a nurse comes to me, and she wakes me up. And then she starts telling me a story about how a girl came in presenting similar to the symptoms that I had. And they were asking the girl, what did she do? And the girl didn't say what it is that she did. And the next thing, the girl now died. And they discovered that the girl had an abortion. And I should just tell them what they did. Hey! That did I have an abortion?
Sorry for the laugh. But I also have a story like that, but that's a separate. Wow.
Bear in mind, by the way, at this time I was delirious. Yeah. So cerebral malaria goes into your brain. So I was really delirious. So all the way to the hospital, I'd been saying nonsense at this time. I started concocting all sorts of. I did not do anything. But me and my boyfriend one day we kissed. I mean, I'm laughing now, but.
And now you carry belly from the kiss, you don't know. It is the cause of your problems.
What is this? And she was with me for quite a while that night, trying to bring out from me a confession of what the issue was. Yes. So my mom came the next morning, and I remember I just had the presence of mind enough to tell my mom, this is what happened. Yeah. My mommy. Yeah. She's like, if you don't want me to shut down this hospital, bring down that nurse. Right, bring her out. Let her look at me in the face and tell me what she thought anyway. Yeah. Sorted that out. We're there. They did how many tests? They got a gynecologist to look at me. This is not a gynecological case. There's nothing wrong with this babe. Let's look for the actual course of the issue. Yeah. Then a really old doctor came on there and said, test for malaria, but test this way. He was a much older doctor. Mm-hmm. And they tested and they found I don't even know if it was pluses any longer, because it had taken over it was disguising as my red blood cells. As your blood. Literally. So anyway, I don't know. I'm sure the medical people would know. I'm saying it very badly, but in that sense. So they start me on quinine. So they're shooting quinine into my blood directly, and then because quinine is so, I think it saps you of everything.
Yeah.
So they'll shoot me with
You feel
quinine. I think it
really
was
sick.
2 hours or 3 hours. Then they'll give me sugar, glucose or something
Yes.
for another 4 hours. So I think it was in this hand here, then this vein collapsed, and then it was here, and then this one collapsed, and it was here, this one collapsed, and
Yeah.
all sorts of things. But I wasn't getting better. And then one Thursday afternoon, the doctors, come and they're whispering to my mom. And, I hear them telling my mom that you need to prepare yourself because we're trying everything.
And she's not
responding. She's not getting better. My mother said, so my mom leaves the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So she walks out of the room with the doctor and they're still whispering and telling her that, yeah. So I start crying. Barang was in the room with me.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, why are you crying? I said, because I'm not getting better. And she roars.
I remember.
Who told you you're not getting better? I said, the doctors are saying, and I was wailing.
Yeah.
Dry your eyes. You're getting better. You're fine. Your body is okay. There's nothing, and she's just speaking all these words and we were young. How old were we in 2008, But my mother had gone to a Catholic church down the road and she called the priest. She said, I don't know what people are doing here.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is dying. So I need you to come and pray for her. And there's something that we call anointing of the sick in the church, right? So the priest came and he sat with me, spoke with me for a few minutes, gave me Holy Communion and anointed me with oil.
We also call it the last rites.
The last rites,
so
exactly.
It's what Catholics do when they believe that this person is not going to make it.
Yeah.
So you want them to make everything right with the Lord.
Yes.
And so this is what your mum went to sort out.
The priest, yes. So he did that. That was a Thursday evening. I can't remember how long I've been in the hospital at this time. In fact, some colleagues of mine I was working in Huawei, they came to visit me. And when they opened the door, it was when I saw their faces that I realized
how bad it
was. Caroline, who has gone to be with the Lord now, started crying because they were like, Auntie Folu came and she entered and she knelt down and she was like, Lord. Every time I tell this story, I hardly get through it without becoming teary, but I spent too long on this eyeliner, so I'm not going to cry today.
Good job.
But she knelt down and what she told the Lord? She said, Lord, you took Julie. I did not say anything. This one, you will not, don't test me. And I'm just looking, I'm like having an out of body experience. And I'm looking around like, but these, you have plans for your life. You have one boyfriend that you want to marry. What's going on? Anyway, that happens Thursday evening towards nighttime. And then I sleep. So they used to take I was that patient that every morning they'll take my blood about 4 a.m. Or so. Then all the doctors and, I don't know if you watch Grey's Anatomy, whenever they'll come, present today. This is this patient X, blah, blah, blah. Have you tried this? Not responsive. Have you tried this? Not responsive. Okay, today put on this. Like 10 doctors will be around my bed with the consultant, then they'll all go away. So the nurse came. She takes my blood normally early in the morning, takes my blood and takes my temperature. Now, after that first day, my mom always had been sleeping in the hospital with me. And she would normally sleep on the floor. The Lord would bless my mother 1 billion times over. She would sleep on the floor beside the bed, not even on the bed. So they came, she took my blood, and then she took my temperature, and she screamed, Jesus. So my mother flew up.
Yes.
What has happened? Because they said, I probably won't see. I'll probably see Friday morning. Say, no, man, nothing. Say, no, you can't say no, man, nothing.
After you shout
what? She said, her temperature, for the first time in over 2 weeks, my temperature was 37 point whatever it is.
Was normal.
My mother said, how is it possible? Don't say. I think maybe the thermometer is not whatever. Anyway, they test again, but they can't check my blood, and truly, there was nothing. There was nothing. I don't know how much blood they took from me that day because they were convinced that everything in the hospital was not working that particular day. Would you believe I walked out of the hospital that Friday?
That Friday, after the last rite, the day before?
Yes. That Friday, they discharged me at 12:30, thereabouts. The doctors were like, we have no reason. Like her stats are so crazy. We have no reason to keep her here and for you to keep on paying. That take her home. Just take her home first. So we left. We drove to that Catholic church where the priest was. You know, when I entered the church, I just lay down like this and I burst into tears because I had not walked. I hadn't, up until Thursday night, I couldn't walk unassisted. To go to the bathroom, I had like, oh my gosh.
All the tubes.
I don't think I'd had how can I have a bath when you have, no. So they'd sponge me, so I had nothing. And then Friday, this was me walking out of hospital, walking. And and that year, car accidents, remember?
Yeah.
Cars being totaled.
Yeah.
They'd look at in fact, one accident we had, they look at the car, they were like,
that
yes.
Was scary. I remember that year because when I then called randomly over the weekend, because I didn't know that you were in the hospital. I knew that you hadn't been feeling well, but I thought that, oh, right, you'd finished because I remember you finishing that malaria course. I was like, okay, everything is hunky-dory. By the time I called, it was Barong that was telling me that, I said, what do you mean? And I remember because I had exams.
Yeah.
Because I was in uni. And I remember shouting in the library. I had to go out to the library because I was like, what do you mean? And that is just one example of so many of your direct relationships. So I can understand why when you say that. And something I find very interesting is for a number of us, because our parents introduced us to God and introduced us to the religion that a number of us practice, right? There is a sense of, okay, this is just what I do. You go, and especially when it's one route, you've always done the same thing. So I think that is where people sort of, do I call it, is it losing faith or is it losing touch with the divine in a way, which is interesting? Because when I come across people who have been, I don't even converted, because again, yes, you were raised as a Christian, but in adulthood, you chose a path and you chose it with the same fervor that you attach to your work, with the same fervor that you attach to your enjoyment. Yeah. Because there's one thing about my Bissong family. We do turn up.
That's right.
Enjoyment. Well, like this. So if you just look across the spectrum of the people I know from our family, like we even our work has put us in line with a lot of things to do with entertainment. And I just sort of wonder, so then how do you then align that with the kind of work that you do? Because now you work in spirits, and that is also like a controversial area for a number of Christians, depending on how you look at it. But it doesn't have to be Christian. But I'm just now curious, how do you feel that your walk with God, because you do walk with God, that's the way I see it, right? How does that feed into the work that you do, and how does that align with the purpose that you feel you have for your life? And as you share that, could you share that in the context of why you think it is a pathway or a way of perceiving life that other people could find use in? Does that make sense? Yeah.
You ask such good questions.
Welcome to experiencing. You have seen one aspect of my life.
I know, right?
These
Come on
another.
now. Yeah, you do. I have 2 engineering degrees, and I'm saying that in context. What that means is that I'm actually an intelligent girl. So even in my faith, there's an era of intelligence to it. I believe very much in the miraculous and things that I would never be able to explain on this side of eternity, and that's fine. But there's some things I believe that are, you can't suspend your intelligence in the direction of faith. And I'm saying this to say that I sat down and I catalogued the one I call God. Okay. In a way, right? I find God to be very excellent. Extremely excellent. Let's just start a moment. Just take a look at the composition of me.
Okay, Madu.
No, I mean,
I wasn't ready. I should have been knowing this girl. I should have been ready for that particular statement, because she said I should look at the composition of her first as an example of the excellence of God. Can I get a hallelujah?
And I was born on a Monday.
Clapped.
So I was created on a Sunday.
When God was resting. So he did his finest work. You did there.
But, when I think about it, and I promise this is not me being vain. I'm actually being quite serious. And not just me, just think about the human being. If I think about the reproductive system, the cardiovascular system, the skeletal system, the muscle, whatever system. Think about all the various things that are working on the inside of me right at this moment without me giving it a conscious command that Hatu, don't forget to beat to. Long, are you breathing?
If my body was relying on me in that fashion, I would have perished a long time ago.
Do you see? So when I think about that level of excellence, then I look at the universe. The sun has not fallen. How many thousands of years it's been there? The moon one day didn't say that, you know what, sun vexed me yesterday. Today I'm not mooning, right? The earth is still spinning. Gravity is still gravity. Try and you'll find out. Like, there are not some days that, that gravity is like, today, you know what, I'm actually tired, so I'm not going to gravitate. That kind of God that puts systems and processes in place, that has kept the earth, the humans, the animals, the ecosystems of the world sort of going. If I claim I'm a daughter of God, why will I do my work any less excellently? Why should I be shoddy in the way that I choose to show up? When I wake up in the morning and I dress up, right? And I do my face or not do my face, depending on the care I put into me, it's just a reflection of the excellence of a father that I'm radiating. When I look at my nails and I'm like, oh, these nails are chipped. Well, this is not a good look for your nails to be chipped. It's not vanity. People look at you like, but then you're vain or you're just looking at the nails. No. It's in the little, think about the little, have you observed the ants? You know an ant, if you do the ant like this, the ant just goes. But have you observed, have you seen a few ants when they're carrying a cockroach?
The most industrious of God's creatures, I believe, is the ant.
So if the ants, they're not to talk of me, a full-grown human being, that is the energy I bring into my work. That's the energy I bring into everything I do, which is, first off, that level of excellence. Second is, can I be trusted? And I'm not talking of perfectionism. Some days balls will drop, that's fine. But your life cannot be a life of dropped balls. There has to be discipline and order. The same way the sun rises at a certain time each morning, sets at a certain time. What time am I rising and setting? What am I doing when I rise? What am I doing before I set? That's so I don't just sleep, then sleep. Then when maybe I'm not this sleep I'm just okay. Let me wake up today at 11 a.m. Tomorrow let me wake up and I'm a director. Quite frankly, there's some privileges I can take now that will not be questioned. But it boils down to that thing of, if I'm I'm a government under a king. So what is the government after my life? How have I organized my life as I'm a governor. I'm the CEO of the institution that's called Lady Bodam Incorporated. How do I sit down and put systems and processes in place for me? And that has dictated everything that I do around me. So how do I show up at work? How do I lead my teams? How do I insist on excellence with those that I work with? One of the great, and then not being afraid to, I pray about my work. I'm having issues. I know where I get answers. I'm smart, but I'm not the smartest person in the room. I have board meetings with God. These are the 5 issues I'm facing with my company. People, whatever, this one. Oh yeah, I need solutions.
Because I need to, it's very interesting for me interviewing my Bodam, because she's my cousin, because she's my family member. So I'm privy to certain behavioral traits, and I sort of want to shine a light on certain things that I've seen. She does not know I used to observe. I used to make notes. When Bodam vexed me, there's a black book, I'll go and write her name. And I said, don't worry, I'll deal with your matter later. But you've touched on a few things that I sort of want to draw out. I love how you referenced your life and actions as a reflection of the divine, as a reflection of God, as a reflection of the things that you believe in, and so you put that into practice. You are currently a director at Diageo.
Yes.
And you have worked across some of the top brands. In fact, the journey, I know you've been at Pernod Ricard. You were at Diageo before
yes.
that.
Then I did Jack Daniels for a bit, Brown Forman.
Yes, you did Brown Forman.
Yes.
And you've also worked at the NBC.
NBC was Brown Forman.
Yes, the Brown Forman. There you go.
Yes.
So a wealth of experience. I recall when you started off, and yes, there's a group of people, because this also comes to networking and systems. And within certain industries, naturally speaking, we all sort of work across different spaces over time in those industries. I know that today when I walk in spaces, there's so many spaces that you and I have not been in together that most people do not know we are related. And when it comes to, we have to go talk to our sponsors is Madam B or Lady B, as they're talking about. And it's such a sense of pride, because you had no one. Sometimes people believe that, you have to have somebody there. No, you've literally networked within your circle, but you've been diligent and consistent in the work that you've done. And in that diligence and consistency, something you spoke about now was routines and systems. And I'd really like to talk about how you place those routines, what sort of routines, because you're also someone that I know that whether it is a good thing, a bad thing, or a confused thing, you talk to God with specificity. Bodam is one of the few people I know that takes people prayer. That she'll put their name, she'll mention you. Folu's Toms annoyed me on God. She does, and she writes lists. So talk to me about if you had to advise women, because also we are sitting in that position of women.
Yes.
And the reality is that life is a little bit different for us in certain ways from men. What are some systems and routines, and how do you set systems and routines to help you function in this effective way? Because now we have a better understanding of your purpose, the thing that drives you, your God-given talents, and you do have a natural drive. You do have a certain intelligence. You understand that you're intelligent to a certain level. You understand how to leverage your networks. What about the systems, and how does that help to align all these things?
So I think with systems, there are systems for different things. There's systems for self-care. And let me start with that one. Because sometimes when people hear you speak, it almost feels like you're always on. You never have time to, but do you rest? Do you rest? You are projecting. I rest. I sleep. I enjoy myself. Yes, it's projection. I do.
Okay.
But what are the systems for self-care? Let me start with that.
Okay.
This one I don't do as much any longer, but I'll talk to you about some of the stuff I've done through my life or over the past few years. There was a season where every Monday was Bodam's date with Bodam. Yes. There was a restaurant I used to go to in VI. I'll sit down, I'll order a passion fruit martini and a steak. Every Monday. That means it was in my budget. I'll sit down there.
And you do have a budget?
Yes. I would, I don't want anybody. My phone, I'm not answering it. I go with either a novel or my journal. And I just stay in a corner. It was my time to listen to me. How's my heart doing? Am I upset? Am I at ease? Am I peaceful? Am I calm? There was a season where maybe once, twice a month, I would go to a hotel. I'd spend time in a hotel, right? That when I was still living with my parents. They knew me. There was one time I went to one hotel in Lagos. I now walked in with some of my senior in this role, in a previous role with some of my senior directors and everything. I walked in and I was like, Ma, it's been so long. I said, what is wrong with you? What is this thing? Then I said, it seems like you're a regular. And I started stammering.
Be explaining.
You see?
You explain that I know evidence. Why are you always in a hotel? But that was part of your self-care system.
That was part of my self-care system. I make time for my spa sessions once a month, my facials, my massages once a month. I make time for my nails once or twice a month, depending on how I'm feeling, my hair, whatever. It's scheduled. Yes?
Okay.
Scheduled. That's on the one hand. The second thing is time for... I have a 9 to 5 and I have an assignment of my heart. Let me put it that way, right? And no ball can drop in either. And when I'm in my 9 to 5, I want to be 8 to 7 or whatever. So that one is there. But that's why my mornings are really critical for me.
Okay.
So when I wake up early in the mornings, what are some of the things you can do? Now I can proudly say
Please,
that.
when you wake up early, please explain to the people the time you wake up.
So I typically get up
Speak
at...
up, please. I want them to hear you. What time do you wake up in the morning?
I typically get up at 4 a.m. in the... I know, no, it doesn't sound as crazy as it sounds. And ignore her face, because okay. So when I wake up at 4, let me own it with my full chest. I wake up at 4, and it's for a few things. One, obviously, I like silence and solitude. I do my best work in silence and solitude, right? I also like to spend the first few moments of my day, or minutes or hours, whatever it is, having that conversation with God to set the tone for my day. And I like doing that before I get sucked into the daily cares and concerns of each day, right? So that's one of the first things I do in the day. I speak to the Lord about many things, right? Maybe I read scripture. Maybe I'm usually almost always reading one or two books.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I'm reading Epic, which is this beautiful book by a woman that I just discovered recently and I really love, Caroline Buckley. I'm also rereading Motivation Manifesto, which is one of those sucker punch kind of books. We started rereading Hello Tomorrow as well. And really, it's a chapter of each of these every day, because they all do different things for me and they send to me. So I do that early in the morning as well. Then I read a bit of scripture in the morning. Then I get into creative work. If I need to get out stuff for my EA to work on during the day, it's going to be that time of the morning.
Your EA being your executive
my executive assistant, yes.
Okay.
And that's part of my systems and routines. Because of the level of things that I do, I hired for myself an executive assistant that supports me and supports my vision, right? At that time of the morning is when I'd write emails to my community, because that's when I can write from my heart. I do research at that time of the morning as well. And sometimes I'm just bored and allow my mind wander and dream of what this world would be like when finally some of the things we're doing finally, what would this... I dream a lot about what this world would look like when women fully step into who they were called to be. It gives me such joy. So I can spend time dreaming. I'm a very bad artist, but I just draw things, So that's what my morning routine is like. Now, I also have a 20-minute walk in the mornings. Yes, I got a gift of a cute sports set 2 years ago. The first time I wore it was this January.
It's okay. Anything that motivates you. I love
That's
that.
it.
Congratulations and good job.
So that's part of the routines. The other routines that I used to have in place, it fell off last year because I was transitioning quite a bit. I'm bringing it back this year, is routines about spending time with friends. Or with loved ones. There was a season where every Tuesday there was one place we used to go to do some things. Not in a bad way, but we had a group of people over there. We do on Tuesdays, on Saturdays. There are some people I see on Saturdays. So things like that. Last year was an anomaly because I had so many transitions and so much travel, and I also had to give myself grace. And I think that's the balance when we talk of routines and systems. It's balance when to give yourself grace and the changing seasons of your life. Yeah. Now I'm in a much more balanced season. I'm a lot more diligent and militant about my calendar. So you put something, I'm very quick to decline. Yes. With my full chest. Yes. Yeah. And then the last thing is the boundaries of ending the day. A lot of us work 24/7 because we have it on our phones. We have the mails, we have the WhatsApps, you can message me, but it's up to me when I'm going to respond to you. And that's one thing I don't apologize about. The boundaries I've put in place to manage my sanity, manage my energy flow, manage my time, manage my attention, manage my emotions. When you're someone that sits on some of the things that I sit on, Lady Bodam, can you just counsel me just now? Lady Bodam, my boyfriend broke up with me. Lady Bodam, I'm 34. This man has left me. How will I ever survive in destiny? Lady Bodam, I'm a 40-year-old unmarried woman. there's not very little I've not seen. Come, let's talk.
Mm.
But it has to be, I can't pour, I have to fill in this cup that I'm pouring out of. Do you see? So I'm
Okay.
very mindful about my boundaries at the end of the day. Sometimes I just don't respond. When I come back, I now take it up from there. It's been a busy season. If you want to be offended, that's fine. Maybe I'm not the one to help you in that, to support you in that season. Then the last thing is time for my nieces.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The children that your sister birthed.
Yeah,
for
she
you.
birthed them for me.
Yes.
They're two. They look like me.
Excuse me, one looks like you. The other has always looked like me, and it's something that bothers Bodam. For Lucy,
Since when?
It's her business. See, I'll give you Ilana. All right.
Yes, Ilana looks like me, but Ziel has my mannerisms, which
You see how
equates
she's
to
still
looking like
avoiding
me.
You see, let's not quarrel over children. That's not what we're gonna do here. But I would ask you though. Thank you so much for sharing this, and that is very clear. I know that there are things that I've definitely taken from that, and it is that reminder that self-care is not a luxury; it's a necessity.
Yes.
It is a thing that we require for peace of mind, for well-being. You think of wellness almost as resistance. That's how I look at it. You have to fight for yourself because nobody's going to fight for you more than you are going to fight for yourself. And you need to know what fills you up and your cup. Set those boundaries. Know the times where you are most productive. If it's that early morning, she can do 4 a.m. I feel like it's punishment. But to be fair, I know that there was a period where I think with my Muslim brothers and sisters last year, I joined them fasting. So I was getting up quite early. And to be honest, it was a very peaceful time. So I thought, look, I kind of got it. But fair enough. I think I would ask you if as we're looking at these routines and systems for people out there and for women out there, what are 3 questions that you would say they should ask themselves to keep in alignment, to keep that balance there for them, sort of looking through the rest of 2026?
What is your most ideal 2026?
Okay.
Let me break this down. Because when we say what's your most ideal, look, social media is great.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is also a poison sometimes. By the way, that's the other system. Know when to switch off. Know when to unfollow. Know when to delete.
It's information overload. Dumping, comparison, the thief of joy.
And it's so much harder for women. We don't say it enough. It's so much harder for women. As I was I was in a meeting before I came here, but I just popped up on Instagram because I was getting a bit bored in the meeting. Sorry. If they're watching, this is not your meeting. It's not that one. The other one. But what's the first thing? I'm not going to say who it was because it doesn't matter. But someone popped up and they're like, oh, look at this person's face. The person is aging. The person is 47 or 45. Are we not meant to age? Does the body not have natural things that happen as you progress through life?
Is it plastic?
Do you see? So it's such a little thing. But imagine that maybe you were looking into the mirror. You're already telling yourself, I have lines that were not here before. My tummy is not as flat as it was when it was 18. Am I 18? Why should my tummy? And please hear me. I'm not advocating for you to be unhealthy, to be indisciplined with your eating choices, or to neglect your body. What I am saying is be healthy about the mindsets that you have with yourself. And social media tells us various lies and various stories. The other thing is, this person's husband bought her a brand new car. You now be looking at the partner that you have, eyeing the man that is trying his best to make a living for you and the family members. Why can't you be like, sister, so you don't know what is happening because all you are seeing on social media is a 0.01 second snapshot of a 24-hour day. So when I say this thing of what is your ideal 2026? What is your ideal 2026? Do you know what you even like? Or what you don't like. A lot of women, we don't. We think we do, but it's what society has told us.
We haven't assessed for ourselves, and that is, it can be a challenging thing to face oneself and to be honest with oneself, and to not try to mold oneself because we feel we will be judged by society for wanting simpler things or desiring easier pleasures. Because in a world where individualism is being pushed at the cost of real community and at the cost of real bonds and at the cost of real love within family, within spouses or partners, and within self, we feel that everything, without realizing it, what we think is individualism is actually just conforming again at the end of the day in a dangerous way. Okay, so that's one thing. That's a core question.
Second thing would be, whose life do you want to be better because you're here on this earth? None of us were meant to live for ourselves. We just weren't created that way. Animals are not great. Nobody, look, nobody. And ants can, there are ants that I look at sometimes irritatingly, but I learned so much from them. An ant can't carry the cockroach by itself.
Yeah.
So it's one ant can identify that dead cockroach. Then it will now go back and call its fellow ant sisters and brothers. Then all of them will come and carry the cockroach.
Yeah.
Who are you meant to impact just by being? Your life cannot just be about you. So to sit and ask yourself, what are the things that set my heart on fire? It could be something like when, one of the things that really disturbs me, and it's disturbing me more and more, and I honestly just haven't sat enough to ask myself, so what are you going to do with all this disturbance that is disturbing you? Are the street boys.
Yes.
Because I used to see them when they were young.
Yeah.
And now they are grown men. And they scare me.
Yeah.
So, okay, after that, what next? So where's your money going?
Yeah.
After I buy my... Look, Sha said it. I'm an enjoyment minister. So I'm not here telling you to live one austere, sad, sober kind of life. But that is important. Who else are you going to impact? Who will go to bed thanking whoever that you exist
in this time and place
other than you?
As they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the third question is, what do you want to learn this year? How do you want to grow this year? Some people, we go through life and we discover that you've not changed your mind on anything. You've not improved in anything.
You're not stretched.
You've not stretched in it. Even your work.
Oof. Some people are feeling called out. Sorry, don't be angry. If we're calling you out, sorry.
The same
just
way
hear it.
You started a career 7.5 years ago. Half a thing you have not added to it. You've not learnt anything new. Have you ever even gone on Google? What are the latest inventions in ABCD? No.
Talent in the mud.
You are just collecting salary, then opening your mouth to say, I don't even know why they don't appreciate me and why they can't promote me. On top what? And onto who? Look, this one pinches me a certain way, so let me not enter it into too much, because I see we have open roles we struggle to fill.
Yeah.
And then we have many people looking for work. So how do you want to grow? 2026, make it your year of audacious growth. Audacious. If there's a year, you know, some people have never done anything personal development in their life. They put down, you're just wasting money. I want to be kind, so I'm thinking of a kind way to say what I want to say. Honestly, there's no kind way. There's really no kind way. You are doing yourself.
Yeah.
When you choose not to grow. Because after a while, those that you started with have outpaced you in the little things. So how do you want to grow? And your growth can just be that you'll be punctual. For once in your life, 2026 will be the year that you'll be punctual. You know, you make a commitment, you keep it, little things here and there.
And so, considering that this is now, at the time this episode is releasing, this is now the season of love, coincidentally. And I would love for you to just kind of summarize the things we've spoken about, the way that you approach your life, in context of love and in the context of, because we could actually spend 2 hours talking,
Yes.
but I don't know about my camera space. The cost of storage these days is through the roof. But I would love for you to sort of like wrap this up in the bow of love, divine love, what you hope for yourself and for others in terms of partnership, and how you see that journey, because you've spoken about people coming to you to cry about, I'm 32, I've not married. I'm like, I don't understand. Others, because we are really like your life is a failure. Wait, what are you? Who?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get younger women who kind of express this thing, and I'm like, relax. But maybe also I shouldn't. Maybe I should also be. Should I also? I say, is there fire on the mountain I don't know about? Should I also be panicked? And I'd love for you to sort of talk to us in that context as we conclude this, of all the things that you do, because I see it as an act of love. I see it as an act of love, a reflection of the love that the divine has for us and how we love the divine and God. I see it as a reflection of self-love. And I love that you spoke about that. The self-care is not vanity; it's a bit of vanity, but that vanity is love, and how, because you have that love, how it pours out onto others and in the things that you do.
Have I said how great questions you ask, right?
You can praise me. And listen, I've told you before, I'm in my goddess era.
Come on
I
now.
accept praise washing. What's it? Praise offering and worship. That's the female is created in the image of God, for sure. So I accept that. That is fine. Please continue.
So I find this question particularly apt because just yesterday morning, I was meditating on this concept of love, right? And in two ways, actually. One, the concept of God being love. And then one of the challenges that were given to me was, you have to learn to love more. And I said, how? And the scripture came to me. The scripture, let me tell you what came to me, was 1 Corinthians 13. And I read it in many different translations, but the one that says love is patient, love is kind, love is not self-seeking. I'm telling you the ones that struck me the most. It's not self-seeking. It doesn't boast in wrongdoing. It believes all things. It hopes all things. It believes the best in the other people. I now started thinking, because I think I'm a pretty loving person, but I'm not the most patient of people. We're still on that walk with the Lord. I think maybe 2-3 things I would say is life can tend to make us hard. And as I was approaching my 40s, oh gosh, I love that I could say that now. But as I was approaching my 40s, I went through a journey of stripping off the things that due to life circumstances I had taken on that were not authentic to my natural nature or character. And this is what I mean. Look, I'm a 40-year-old woman, yeah? If I start telling you stories of my love tales, and they're sweet stories, but you have to get me a drink and, take me out to dinner, and then I can give you the gist.
Put in the comments if you want her to send us this gist in the end. Don't worry, I can remote interview her. It will just be audio only, exclusive to the audio platforms.
Actually, maybe that's the podcast. It's been on my mind. So this thing you've said is actually a confirmation. We're going to do it.
Stories.
We're going to do it. But the reason why I say this is because sometimes, very subtly, you harden yourself in places you should not be hard. You hold back expectation, or you lower your expectation of certain things so that you will not be hurt. Yeah. But what happens on the other side of that is you're also limiting your ability to receive and to give love. And as I was approaching my 40s, especially as I was entering into October, November, December, I had to go on that journey of being, this is not your original character. This one is that boy. This particular one, you can trace it to this boy. Oh yeah, leave it with him. And look, you can lie to anybody else. You shouldn't lie to you. N'est-ce pas? Okay. So that's the thing. The first thing is loving yourself enough to reconnect with how you were meant to be from the very beginning. The second one is loving those that have been put into your life to do life with you. And, I had to recently, I've been struggling with this a bit, but I had to recently sit down and I'd spoken, sometimes it's not good to preach too much because the things you say, you now using it as a lesson to yourself. There was a time I was speaking somewhere and I said, you have to differentiate between Peters and Judases. And this is what I mean. Now, if you're not familiar with scripture, they both denied Jesus. They both betrayed Jesus, let's be clear. Peter denied Jesus 3 times when Jesus needed him the most. They said, do you know this man? Never. Do you know him? No. Kill me, my descendants, everybody. I've never seen him in my life. That was Peter.
And kukuruku.
Kukuruku. The cock crowed. Judas sold him for 30 pieces of silver and moved on. But what was the difference? Peter was a momentary betrayal. He came back.
He came back immediately.
He came back. Sometimes we hold the people in our lives to such high standards, we don't give room for people to come back. And if we're talking about this season of love, is it human error or is it a genuine character flaw? Did this person make a human mistake or does this person hate you? And is that discernment? If we're talking about love believes the best of the other person. If this person has consistently been in your corner, consistently stood with you, consistently loved you, consistently gone on a journey with you, then they've done this one thing that has really broken your heart. Do we lean into this cancel culture nonsense that we have going on? Yes, I called it nonsense. Or do we sit down like mature adults and have a conversation? That I love you and I love this thing we have enough for us to have this difficult, uncomfortable conversation about how we're going to move forward. And based on that, you can now make a decision. Yeah? So that thing of, and then receiving love.
Hyper-independent women step to the front.
Why can't we receive love? Who told this hyper-independence or this independence or whatever other narrative we want to call ourselves? Who told us that it's anti-receiving love? We're so strong. All the time. Strong. You're strong. You and Superman, you're battling for who is strong. You are sick, nobody knows. You are going through depression, nobody knows. Going through heartbreak, it's only you by yourself in your room. What is the problem? Allow yourself to be loved. Have that. I was reading, so occasionally I read romance novels. I love them.
A little guilty pleasure
love.
there.
Do you know, I love love. I love love. So I was reading this book recently called Solid Grounds Company. And the woman is this, she's this Filipino, I hope that's politically correct. It is, okay. So she's, and she's this woman, a publicist. She's great at her work. All her friends look at her. She's wealthy, drives an SUV with whatever. Can I be honest? I've read this book like 100 times. I have this bad behavior as well. I can read the same books and watch the same movies. My sister is tired of me.
That's fantastic, though.
Yeah. And it's as if I've never watched it.
Yes.
Or
you
never
do
read
get
it.
very excited about the same thing.
Yes. Cry, childlike wonder, all of that. Anyway, the first few times I read that book, I saw myself in the woman and I thought it was a great thing. Yeah. But recently I was reading that book again and I said, no. Because there was a time where she was really going through something. And the book, by the way, I have this memory. If this memory did me in my academics, I've graduated first class. But it only does me in movies and in books. So in the book, they said how she was there on the floor and she was crying and she picked up her phone and she texted her friends. Or she typed a text out to the two best friends. And then she deleted the text. Then the book goes on saying she did what most independent women do. She got up, washed her face and started rebuilding the mask that shields her from. My heart broke. Are you not tired? This mask, are you not tired? This year, can you commit to tearing it off? Being vulnerable. I'm not saying host a pity party on Instagram, no. But find one person, two people that you are not. There are some people, am I Lady Bodam with you?
Yeah.
There has to be that room where you can be freed. I can go to my sister's house and be like, I don't know have I even achieved anything in life? Yeah. Then, two of you will cry together, you big yourself up after that, and you move knowing that there's love at home. There's love. You have to have those places. So, and then the final thing I would say, in terms of romantic relationships. Now, I know what all the blogs have told us to do. Men are this, men are that. Well, everybody, to each your own personal belief system. What I do believe, and I think science shows it as well, what you focus on is what you magnify. I don't believe men are scum. I have brothers. I have male cousins. They're not scum. So I can't go ahead and spout a narrative. Are some men badly behaved? Yes, the same way some women are badly behaved. Is equal opportunities bad behavior? The question is, how are you choosing?
On that note, on that juncture, Bodam, thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed this conversation. I think that we have good conversations anyways, and this is what the
Yes.
StormCast is for. Honestly, it's a platform where we can continue to have conversations that spark something in the mind, that spark, for me certainly, it's very selfish, I'll be very honest with you. A lot of this I'm it's not even quite aura farming, but at the farm I'm farming, I'm farming solutions, I'm farming perspectives, and I hope that my audience and my community that are building with me and pay attention to these conversations are able to pick little things. And I feel like you've dropped so many very valuable perspectives, viewpoints, and you've been vulnerable with me, which I really appreciate, to share that so that people can pick things. I know that, yes, you do talk in the space, and guys, you should go follow like Lady Bodam on Instagram. She's got this fantastic community where she delves a lot more. We did barely even touch the femininity aspect,
Right?
but again, you can see the grace that is upon her in how she moves, how she moves through the world. So see, let me know, Charles. God is doing a walk in my life in that direction, but I'm also getting better while learning. Thank you for coming to speak with such honesty, in such a candid way, with such vulnerability, and with so much love. And I dare say that at the end of this experience of life that we all have, right, when we all have to go and account to our maker or whoever it is, I dare say that God will be quite happy to be like, you move you move in a way that it is evident what you believe.
Amen.
It is evident what you hold dear to you. That is evident. Do you fall short? Yes. I've seen her shortest follies. I am witness to it. Nobody's perfect. But that's the reality. All of us are passengers in this boat of life, and we should all be helping ourselves along as best as we can. So thank you for coming to talk to me today on
Thank
this.
you. I just want to say one thing before
Please.
we go,
Please.
and which is just really to you in particular. Now, I like I should put her hands like, oh my goodness. So
I'm learning to receive.
and I'm looking into the camera now, but a lot of you, well, you may or may not, when we say we're cousins, everybody has different relationship with their cousins, but like Ada is my sister, yeah. So since we're teeny tiny tots, we've done this journey of life together.
Yeah.
And just as we're here and I was just listening to you and looking at you, I think one of the things I just really want to very strongly express is really just how proud I am of you. You've done such a great job in staying true to some of the nigglings or what started off as nigglings rather in your heart, when you couldn't even define what it was. And quite frankly, when we thought you were crazy, that
I told the people about the many intervention. She was one of the people they called to intervene
because I said we cannot lose one of our own.
Yeah.
But just look at that journey. And yes, some of it may be being at the right place at the right time, but I don't ever want you to underestimate the amount of work that you've put into. I don't know if I know anybody that has the level of discipline and tenacity, not just in your body, and all those mad things you do in the gym and all of that, but really in your craft and in honing your craft. And I've seen you become better as an actor, actress, whatever the politically correct word is, in this space of media, on radio, and it's really beautiful to watch. And I'm super thankful that I get to be on the front row seats and I'll be behind the scenes, to see how you've transitioned. But I just wanted to just take that minute to really just say, well done. You've come into a level of your own, but it's still just the beginning of what lies ahead. And for you to really get ready to receive all the open doors that are coming in 2026, beyond this, just on international stages. And there are many things that you've been building, and sometimes it can seem like, oh my goodness, I've been building this thing for so long, it's not opening. It's just, I think this is one of those years, the beginning of the years of doors, especially international doors and gates opening, because in an industry like the media industry, there are doors and there are gates and there are gatekeepers. And I just feel very strongly in my spirit that this is that season where, connecting lines will be made to gatekeepers and doors will be opened and gates will be lifted up, and you really the world will begin to see the brilliance and the intelligence and just really the sheer genius that you carry. So well done. I just wanted to express that.
Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. We recorded this episode of the StormCast at the Creative Economy Practice Hub. Please do feel free to check out the link that I'm going to drop in the box below. So if you want to kind of sign up to use these sorts of spaces, you can. Big shout out to Rixel Productions, Akaso for our production design, and of course to our partners who provide equipment, Canon as well. Thank you so much, guys. Go check out the other episodes of the StormCast, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.